My dude's over here laughing over the intro. Like you can't even give it one bit. My dude had like two shot. I don't even know what scene it is. Here we go. Boom. Look at you. Look at you. You be ashamed of yourself. This is how we're gonna start today.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm all right.
All right. Just sound check, guys, in the chat. Let me know if you guys can hear us perfectly fine. No issues.
Shit.
Ooh. Wait, you put the vodka in the Mountain Dew?
Yeah, I poured the vodka into the Mountain Dew.
Nice. All
Yeah, man.
right.
It's like $3 was great. Let's go.
Audio is fine other than that. What was that laugh? It's Johnny. Johnny had 2 shots of something, and I don't know what it was, but we're gonna continue the show as is. All right. So we're gonna start off with the intro. Hey everyone, we are gathered here today to do a podcast.
Are you in church?
Get Glitched is a gaming streaming podcast covering news, topics in the gaming and streaming world. Today, with me, I got the demo playing, puzzle stuck, just chatting, Johnny Boombots. How you doing today, Johnny?
I'm good. How are you doing today? How are you doing today, Sam? I'm sorry. I'm good. How are you doing today, Cinex? What's
I
going
am
on? Thank you
doing
for having me on the
fantastic.
show.
I am doing fantastic, Johnny. Johnny, would you like to give us an update of where you're at with your move, and congratulations on your new mansion?
My mansion. Whew, I wish. Actually, yeah, compared to New York for the price, yes, it is a mansion.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But actually, yeah. So as you can tell, I don't have my lights right now, so I'm using a YouTube screen to try to get my lighting right. And my lights, like a lot of my stuff is packed up already. So we're closing. If everything goes well, we're closing in 7 days. So I'm really excited because in 7 days we'll be closing, moving in about 10 days. About 10 or 11 days we'll be moving, and then I'll be off for like another week or so, setting everything up, and then I'll be back, hopefully. So
Oh,
really,
good,
really, really excited.
good. Can't wait for the comeback screen. Screen? No,
Yes.
stream.
Yeah, we can do a comeback screen too. It's all right.
We just scream like fuck it.
Oh.
So, what was it? We got like probably like 2 items really. One was it somewhat of a breaking news that we're gonna go into. Was it the breaking news is basically was it with Sony investing in Epic Games again? I think this is their 3rd time investing right now. And here we got, it says Sony invest was it $1 billion into Epic Games metaverse development. So I'm not gonna pretend that I know, but apparently, oh no, it actually says it in here. So apparently there's a metaverse that they're what was it that Epic is trying to work on? What was it? It's a family-friendly metaverse targeting children. What was it? Epic announced a partnership with Lego to develop. Oh, I'm definitely gonna look into this. We'll see what's going on. What was it? I thought for the most part it was gonna be along the lines of them trying to get like, you know, like their feet like wet with what's it called? Unreal Engine 5, because that was also announced at some point, which is
Right.
good news for developers and whatnot around the world. But Johnny, what do you think about this was it Sony investment into Epic Games as breaking news?
So I'm actually really excited to see what they do with it. Because as you and a lot of people do know that I'm very big into like the VR world, into the metaverse and stuff, and I'm really excited to see where the metaverse comes from. Not where it comes from, where it's going to go to rather. The biggest thing being that Epic Games, excuse me, I'm sorry. The biggest thing being that Epic Games, though we already know, is very much like they have their feet with the Unreal Engine, which is huge, and they did that whole the Matrix demo that they did was showing off the Unreal Engine, and their metaverse is actually taking um stuff from the game that you played. If you played the demo, it's taking items and resources from the demo to show off in the new metaverse, and that's what they're basically going towards. The fact that Lego is a partnership with Lego with the Epic Games and for children, and now Sony getting in on it too. Though Sony has a lot of games such as like, well, I mean, not that they don't have Square Enix yet, but Sony has a lot of games like the Lego games and everything else too that they can work with. And Lego catering towards children and catering towards kids for the metaverse, because we've been in the VR world before, and you get a lot of kids in there. And a lot of kids should not be really shown what's going on in the metaverse because the metaverse is a very crazy, crazy, crazy place. If you're not careful with it. So them them really getting together to try to kind of get a child friendly version of the metaverse is good. Um, I'm just my main concern and my real big curiosity though is what age group they're looking for, because we know 13-year-olds in the metaverse are very toxic. They're 13-year-olds. We've
Yeah.
all been there. But yet if they're looking for like young kids, like 8-year-olds and stuff, 8-year-olds I don't think should be using like Oculus and VR to begin with. Like they're still more of like a scientific thing. They're still developing. So it's more of a dangerous thing for them unless they really upgrade and they really step their foot forward with seeing where they go. But now what I have a curiosity question of, and I want to know what you think. We already know that Facebook with Metaverse and MetaQuest and everything else too. Facebook has been very big on the Metaverse. Sony dealing with Epic and Lego and dealing with a family friendly metaverse targeting children, is that going to either impact Facebook or is that going to be one of those things like Facebook kind of tries to work with them at that point?
So, and this is like basically, I'm gonna be honest with everybody real quick. What was it like? Most of these topics are just like up on the whim, so we're not really knowledgeable on this. But from my understanding, Facebook's metaverse is supposed to be a VR type. Yes or no? No, nobody's got an answer.
Oh yeah. No,
Oh, I was
so
gonna say,
Facebook's metaverse is very much like a VR type, and like they have where they're building on the back end, where it's basically where the common person, the everyday person, is able to build a VR world around what they want to do with their own stuff.
okay. And then as far as what was it? What I'm reading about, what was it? This family metaverse. I don't see anything in regards of VR, so I'm assuming this is going to be something where they can like link up and do their thing online, just like their Roblox and like a lot of their other games that they play. What was it? Hopefully, like what was it? There's going to be tools for parents to use to limit what was it any exposures that they can get into. But being that it's supposed to be a kid friendly zone situation, it should be fine. What was it? It does say that checks out the story of PlayStation creator criticisms of the metaverse and VR headset. So it's a possibility that's gonna also be there. So I'm wondering like how they're gonna go off with this. What was it? As far as like Lego and Epic Games working together to do this metaverse versus what's gonna happen with the Facebook one, because I think the Facebook one is just gonna be more along the lines of like what was it, like they were talking about like the digital real estate and stuff like that, like building like a world where people could have like ownership to it. But this
Mm,
side of things, it just seems like it's just a kid's game of some sort that they're gonna really go into. What was
Well, I
it?
don't know because in all reality, metaverse in general, metaverse is just basically so metaverse is the overall like the umbrella of 3D virtual world. So metaverse is a social network virtual world. Um, So like you have real estate you can buy in the metaverse. You do have different things you can buy within the metaverse, like property and some of that too, NFTs, where you can basically buy property and have it in your house,
Yeah.
etc. So them working with the metaverse though, it would have to be virtual reality
You think so? Because I mean,
because
like you did say
it's
it's gonna be virtual, obviously, and then that's just gaming in general. So what was it? A metaverse is a network of 3D virtual worlds focused on social connection. So it doesn't have to be what was it a VR per se. That's probably the direction that Facebook is gonna take it with their Oculus headsets. But I have a feeling that like you're gonna be able to like get into it without the headset on both sides to begin with. Which
like
I mean,
VR chat.
like yeah, like you don't like what was it? Yeah, basically like how VR chat is, but you could access this anywhere because I'm pretty sure Facebook's gonna want to like be able to be accessed from like your phones and from the headset, from your computer, and like any other devices they could probably get their hands on. Sort of like how Xbox is trying to do things. But it's kind of
I,
interesting that Sony's putting stake in VR, even though like 'cause they have their own VR headset and they can go into like what was it some form of metaverse or whatever, depending on how this goes. And the hopes are that was it PlayStation brings back. I don't know if you're familiar with it. PlayStation Home,
I was just thinking about that. I was literally just thinking about that.
because that was one of the aspects about like, and that was technically was it against this definition? Technically, PlayStation Home was a metaverse of sorts because you could do a lot of social things or whatever. You could play like in-game games inside that game, You could watch movies with friends and family. You could do all sorts of stuff, and it was a shame that it had to go at some point. It really was. It was a lot of fun back then. I think it
Well,
was on the
like,
PS3, right? Yeah.
yeah, it was, yeah. And I will say though, is like that was a big thing when Oculus first came out before it became Facebook, Oculus Meta.
Yeah.
Um, when the Oculus Go first came out, my wife and I got one each, and that had a VR, like a little virtual world where you had a room, um, and you had like a little table. Me and her used to play Monopoly on the table and checkers and stuff in the VR world, and we would sit on the couch and watch movies in the VR world, and you could put up your pictures and stuff. They took it away, and everybody used to say that that reminded them so much of PlayStation Home because it looked exactly like PlayStation Home. It had the same concept to it. Then when they got rid of it and they rolled out the new ones. Now they have where um they have the rooms now where you can literally put furniture, you can put anything you want to in your rooms. You can put arcade machines in your room. So I don't know. I'm very 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 excited because if PlayStation, like, okay, this is where my mind went to. I don't know if you've seen Ready Player One or read the books.
No, I have
Um,
not touched
okay,
either.
so Ready Player One is the general idea, though, in the future that VR is basically what they do. So schooling is done through VR headset. You get a VR headset through your school. It's not always the best thing in the world, but you go to class in VR. You learn your lessons, everything else too, and the teachers are able to actually cut your connection off, and you're only able to be in that classroom and doing all your work in the classroom on VR. So I'm wondering though, is because we already know that a lot of times movies and books represent real life, or real life plays off of what we learn in books and movies and everything else too. So I'm wondering though, is if that might be the idea of what Lego's trying to go for. If they're trying to make a kid-friendly VR, is this going to be the first step towards VR schooling? Because we've already seen social distance learning and stuff like that too with COVID and things. Was that a push for them to actually kind of make it where it's like a virtual schooling where you kind of go into classrooms and you spend your days in there from home instead of going to buildings and going to school, especially with Lego, because Lego we know is both developmental for children and also for adults too. Like it's something that's fun, but it's also a learning thing too. It's very like hands-on, very learning capable uh substance. I guess I don't know the word, really know the freaking word I'm trying to think of. But I don't know. Like I don't know. And now I'm looking at the picture right now of the Facebook Home. That's literally what a lot of the stuff that Oculus and Meta, like the Oculus, has right now.
Yeah.
Um, except the avatars don't look like that because that was like GTA avatars, but it's literally the same kind of concept like that.
Yeah, this is like back in the day stuff. As far as like what was it, the learning aspect, that would actually be an awesome thing to do. But I mean, like it all depends because I know like VR, what was it? VR is usually like what was it, gate locked by age, and I think it's like 12 and up are able to pull off the VR world. But what is it? I'm just very curious on where they're gonna go with that, and like it just see, and it's to me it's amusing that was it PlayStation Sony continues to invest in Epic, and I feel like that's gonna be an interesting partnership going forward because I think like somebody said it was like now they have like 5%, like what was it, like a 5% stake within Epic right now.
Okay.
So like I'm curious to see where that's gonna take PlayStation as far as everything that's going on and whatnot. Even though like obviously Unreal Engine 5 is just it's gonna be across the board. It's not like anybody's getting like special treatment as far as we know. Was it with it? But was it everybody's got access to that?
But what's their end game? That's like basically
That's
saying though
definitely the
too, like
question.
where do
Yeah,
you see that going to?
yeah. And
I
I'm
want to
I'm
see what
curious to
their
see what
end
that's
game is
gonna
going to
be.
be.
Yeah. All right. So that was pretty much our breaking news. It's like I said, it's interesting. It's interesting on what's going on as far as what was it, how Sony's just like playing with their money and whatnot. It was it my take from how Sony's approaching things because this goes back to the console wars situation. What was it, Sony? It seems like Sony's trying to get like all the little tidbits and trying to like basically what was it? I'm done with you, Rara. I couldn't help it. What was it? So like Sony is making all these moves, and they're like, what was it, to like the average eye? They seem like minimal moves and stuff like that. because they started working with Xbox as far as was it cloud gaming. They started working with what was it? They've been working with Epic and whatnot. What was it with various sources on that? Um, I'm trying to remember if there was anything off the top of my head, but I can't. The PC stuff, that's what it was. They bought a company that basically specializes in porting video games into PC, and then God of War came out. And God of War did amazing on Steam. So to me, it's just like they're making all these little moves instead of just buying out these like studios. Like they recently, a month ago, they recently bought a studio. Excuse me, they bought a studio. What was it that hasn't even made a game yet? And it makes you wonder,
Really?
like, what's under, what's on the table. What was it for that company? Well, not that company, but the studio. And then why does PlayStation have an eye on it? You know what I mean? So it just
You know
seems
why?
like PlayStation's playing like the long game, and was it with Xbox and Microsoft? They're just buying out the companies to make games, and like the issue with that is when are you gonna make your own games?
Yes, but at the same time though too, like if you go into that aspect, so PlayStation's buying a studio that didn't make a game yet.
Yeah.
So that's the long game, but at the same time though too, Xbox holds one up on them because of the fact that Xbox gives third party companies, third party software the opportunity to use Xbox and the PC and everything else too.
Oh
So
no,
where
yeah, you're right
Sony
about
doesn't
that.
do third party, that's where Xbox doesn't need to buy because of the fact that I couldn't hold back. I'm sorry, West. Um, so fuck, took me totally off track. So yeah, so no, with Xbox though, Xbox does the Xbox gives all the third party companies the opportunity to get the games out there. They don't need to purchase, so they don't purchase the companies that aren't making games yet, but yet they still give the opportunity and the space. So at the same time, what is PlayStation buying only one company that doesn't have any games yet? I feel like they're still a day late, a dollar short. So it's like, and that's where I always feel with PlayStation. PlayStation is great for what they have. Like you can't deny PlayStation has what they already have. But at the same time, though, too, PlayStation I feel like is constantly trying to play catch up with Xbox and constantly trying to not one up, but kind of meet Xbox. But they're always a week late, a month late for it because now you're gonna get a studio that didn't have any games yet. Congratulations. You still have Xbox that doesn't even bother buying the companies, but yet they just give the rights to the companies. Like, oh, here you go, go ahead. You guys can use Microsoft. We'll put you out there, and we put millions of third-party companies out there. So in all reality, if you're a small studio, you're not going to run for PlayStation. You're going to run for Xbox because Xbox gives you the resources to play with them. Where PlayStation's like, we're gonna gatekeep our resources. We don't want to put you out there. But you know what though? Maybe if you show us some possible, we'll give you that idea. We're gonna feed you that little breadcrumb to be like, here you go. You want it? You can come get it, but we're not gonna give it to you. And that's where I think that they're doing buying a small studio with no game yet. I feel is them trying to entice other game companies to try to reach out to them to be like, can I have an opportunity? Can I sit at your table? Can I hang out with the cool kids? But yet everybody else though that's already a small company, indie company, is looking at Xbox like, I don't want to sit with the cool kids. I'm sitting with my like-minded friends, the ones that are already here, the ones that we can all just share resources. I don't have to worry about trying to get into the cool kids table. I can just hang out with all my friends. That's where I feel personally with that.
All right, so I'm gonna have to agree with you. Was it as far as the cool kids table? Was it, we already know that PlayStation is bougie on so many levels. They gatekeep everything. Was it known to man at this point, and woman, and everyone. But was it? I also not but I also agree with you on the was it factor like with indie gaming. Indie gaming is a lot stronger on the Game Pass because there are multiple titles and was it us included that have experienced it. Games like Unpacking, Skull, what was it? It was a Tunic, I think
Superliminal.
is another one. There's a bunch of games that without Game Pass, my broke ass would not be playing. I'm not gonna pop 15, $20 for every other indie. Like I would love to support indies, but financially that's just not happening. It is just not. And Game Pass is a wonderful way to get that exposure out. it's perfect. Like in my opinion, it is like it's the greatest deal in gaming, regardless of how we're gonna look at it. Like we had this discussion, what was it, last week about what was it, Game Pass and what was it, the subscription for PlayStation. And you're right, they are trying to play catch up. It's a possibility. It's gonna be that same conversation where what was it? We had the whole factor of what's it called? Nintendo. We always said Nintendo's it's in its own field, it's doing its own thing. What was it? So we just ignore it. PlayStation and Xbox has to understand that you are in the sights of everybody in the community. We're looking
Right.
at you to see what moves you're making, but every time it seems like they're coming up with these excuses. So, example, what was it? I think like at some point, somebody either on Microsoft side or Xbox basically said like, we're not on the same competition level as PlayStation. We're trying to do our own thing. And PlayStation doesn't talk to anybody, so we don't know what the hell PlayStation's trying to do. But we want to say that they're trying to do their own thing at the same time. But we're still going to keep going back and we're going to compare yours to, what was it, the Game Pass. And Game Pass, at this point, still is the greatest deal in gaming. Like, you can't beat $15. Was it, well, 16, right? $16 a month for all the games you
Yeah,
get. Your first, was it, day and date drops. A bunch of indie games that are amazing. Well, some of them might suck, but we don't talk about those. What was it? And third parties are quick to jump on them before they jump on the other side.
and the biggest thing is too is that if I was to even like put it down, like you always have a school bus, right? And this is why I was actually talking to somebody the other day about it too. You have a school bus. At the back of the school bus, sitting there licking windows, is Nintendo. They're just the kid in the back of the back of the bus licking windows. You just kind of let them go. You let them do their thing. You just like, all right, they're there. They have their fun. They're chilling. But then you have the bus driver is Xbox. Xbox is the bus driver. Xbox has the wheel when it comes down to it. They have the PC. They have the gaming. They have the Game Pass. They have the indie developer companies. They have day one drops. They have everything you could possibly think of for them. Now, when you look at Sony though, Sony's the aid, the school aid, the bus aid, the one that's standing there that wants the position of the driver, but they just don't ever get there, and they constantly get that the little crumb like, oh yeah, you know what, you could be with us, but they still want to say though they'll say they're running their own thing, they're doing their own thing, they're trying to do their own thing like Nintendo does. We already know Nintendo does not give a fuck. Nintendo has never given a shit. From the day one of Mario, Nintendo has always been on the forefront of its own thing and doing its and running its own show ever since the days of Mario. And it was back when Mario, when it was still, it couldn't get what they wanted out there. Like they couldn't, excuse me, they couldn't get Yoshi because they had the ideas for Yoshi with the original Mario, but they just couldn't do it because they didn't have technology for it. So now Nintendo found their sweet spot. They're like, you know what? I don't need that next gen technology. I'm gonna keep with my technology. I'm gonna keep focusing and producing what I have here because why make something better? Why break it if it's already good? Don't fix it if it's not broken. Um, but yet you have PlayStation, who is always, and like you said, they're in the forefront. PlayStation and Xbox are the forefront. These are the two companies that everybody looks to, and they're the benchmark that everybody goes to. And Xbox though has Xbox is lucky because Xbox has the backing of Microsoft. Xbox has PCs. Like they already had a one up. They no matter what how you look at it, Xbox always had that one up because of PC, because of Microsoft. Like no matter what, they are your go to. They're your golden child, no matter how you look at it. Because indie games thrive on PC. Indie games always thrive on PC. When you have engines, you can modify anything you want to, and especially with the modding community, you have so many things you can just download a DLC. You just throw a DLC out there real quick. Not everybody can run it. So guess what though? If anybody can't run it, you either run it on your potato or you run it at high graphics. People are happy with running 8-bit games. Retro, especially retro, is such a huge thing, but PlayStation does not believe in going retro. They just want to be, I need to have the best of the best. I need the Jordans, I need the Yeezys, etc. like that though. But Xbox is like, yo, you want to run New Balance? You want to run your Walmart jeans? Knock yourself out. Go for it. Do you and be happy with doing you. We don't need to show off to who we are, but PlayStation always feels like that bougie shit. PlayStation always needs to feel like as if they're showing off and needs to try to be at the forefront, but yet they're still not. They're catching up. So they're just doing a status symbol without actually being in the status.
They are bougie, indeed. Wes is probably rolling in his sheets right now, talking about I thought Sin was a Sony pony.
Word for
No,
real.
I'm not a Sony pony. I love all my games. I love gaming on several different levels, but I will call out these companies as is. So
You know what?
we're gonna we're gonna go
Actually,
into what?
I
Go
have one
ahead.
more thing for you, real quick.
Go
I
ahead.
want to
No, no,
ask
no.
your
You go
opinion on this,
ahead.
honestly. So
Go,
I
go
want to know
ahead.
your opinion though. Is PlayStation had their day, and correct me if I'm wrong, PlayStation had their day with PlayStation One. When you talk about the graphics on PlayStation One, the games they had, Twisted Metal, Tomb Raider, etc. like that, though, I feel PlayStation had their day when they first came out with PlayStation One, and they went to PlayStation Two, etc. like that. Though they had their days. Xbox though came out of nowhere though. Xbox kind of kicked all of them down the road with their original Xbox though, and the fact that they had that community thing. It wasn't solo gaming anymore. It was more of a party LAN system where you can just throw your Xboxes together and make huge party and shit. And that was their forefront. And PlayStation is still riding the wave. It's like that 80-year-old uncle you have that still wears the 1970s clothes because they just don't want to forget the good old days compared to what Xbox has. And that's my opinion. I mean, at least.
No, no, no. What is it? So this is how I always looked at it, right? So like we said, Nintendo was it, in my opinion, within was it both our was it lifetimes. Nintendo was the one that set the world aflame. This is like, okay, now we're bringing in was it gaming into the house on a different level. It's almost comparable to what people were seeing in the arcades at the time. They're the ones that basically was it put video games out there into, well, not out there, but inside your home for the most part. So when we start to get into like the leveling out of, like, let's say Nintendo and Sega, and how that console war was going, where it was like, oh, Nintendo's for the kids, Sega's for the adults, and that's what it looked like for the most part. There were certain like adult games that you could find on, like, Nintendo, maybe Super Nintendo when it comes into that aspect. But like going down the road, we eventually run into the other two juggernaut, and that was PlayStation and Xbox. PlayStation 1, for my personal experience, has always been the narrative driven console. It had the JRPGs, it had was it story games. When you go down into PlayStation 2, you're looking at other story games with the platformers and all that jazz. When Xbox came out, that was the first person shooting system. All the first person shooting we did on the PC for a little bit, like Counter Strike, what was it, Call of Duty down the road, Battlefield. They took all of that, put it in a little box, gave you a controller, and gave you reliable multiplayer service right off the bat. And to me, that set them both apart. So you would have to look at it like, yeah, what was it? I would never say that PlayStation had their day. I would feel that PlayStation had their thing, and then Xbox had their thing. And then eventually they try to grasp at each other to try to adapt certain styles. Like you would see certain games on Xbox, like Fable. We're trying our story part. They try to expand better on stories that they had, like Gears and Halo and stuff like that. But we all knew that we were there for the multiplayer aspect, regardless of the fact. PlayStation, you go back, it was always for that narrative aspect. And till this day, it still feels that way because, like, if I had to choose, I would rather do all my multiplayer stuff on Xbox. That it was just always the better way, in my opinion. For my narrative games and stuff like that, excuse me, I would rather just do it on PlayStation. They just always had those types. I feel like, yes, third party wise, they kind of experimented and things got a little bit better on both sides. And things were just, just overall better for both those consoles. But when it comes down to competition, like, how do you really measure it when everything's really based on opinion? Yeah, you can go on the fact of like, oh, this console sold more than the other one, or what was it? This one's always sold out. Like right now, Xbox is selling more consoles than PlayStation, and
You could get
yeah,
Xbox faster than you
you
can
can get
PlayStation.
them,
So
but at the same time, it's because they're making them also. So
True.
resource wise, they're making their stuff and they're putting them out there or whatever. Like, what was it? 200 like if you're selling 200 consoles and PlayStation only sold 150, the number's still there. No matter what the excuse is, they're still selling more.
True.
So at the end of the day, like Xbox is doing better on that front, but then it goes back to the conversation of like, okay, what's going on as far as what Xbox is actually putting out there content wise? A lot of the stuff they are bringing in hasn't really shelved anything yet, but what was it down the road? We're gonna see something, and it might get pretty wild as far as because of the fact that everything's gonna land on Game Pass. Because you got Starfield, you have any future Doom or Elden Ring, you have any future Fallouts and stuff like that. They have a lot of games within their library that if they drop another game, guess what we're gonna all do? We're just gonna flock in that direction because it's gonna be simple. PlayStation doesn't have any of that. They're banking on Horizon. They're banking on God of War. They're banking on a lot of these major hit titles that I don't know, like I can't even like think about like numbers as far as things, but these are games that sold over 20 million. These are games that sold over 20 million. You got Spider-Man, you got God of War, you got Horizon. I don't know who else is in that 20 million club, but I don't think you have those same numbers within the same time frames on Xbox. And it
No,
can
you
be
don't.
like,
And
go
go ahead.
ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you don't. And I mean, granted, though, it's a matter of you putting out 5 big hits or you're putting out 14 smaller hits, and that's where Xbox turns and burns. And I mean, don't get me wrong, because Xbox, though, a lot of their games have replayability. PlayStation games a lot of times don't have as much replayability though too. Like if you play a game, let's say God of War, you play through God of War, you're done. That's it. So I mean, and don't get me wrong, it's an amazing experience. You play it through a lot of those games, it's an amazing experience if you're there for the story-driven narrative. The same way that with Nintendo, if you play the family games. But Xbox though has the replayability of a lot of the games. The only thing that they're lacking is the trophy system, but they still have a lot of replayability with a lot of their games that Xbox does not have. Wait, PlayStation doesn't have because of the fact of, like you said, the multiplayer compared to the single player story driven mode. Single player story driven mode, $80 game, you play it one time, you're done. Xbox, $40 game, for Xbox Game Pass, you keep playing that game over and over and over and over again, and you still have multiple times. Because I could call you up tomorrow and be like, hey, you want to play Halo? Let's go. And you keep playing the story over and over again. You play whatever you want to play multiplayer of it. And so, yes, the sales are there, but now if you have 20 million sales of God of War, that's cool. But overall, though, long term, though,
It's always going to
I'm
be a
still
drop
going to be
off.
going to, right, exactly. Those numbers are going to drop off if you don't stop releasing AAA games every year, every other year. Because if I have to wait 10 years, Kingdom Hearts, if I have to wait 10 years for the next Kingdom Hearts 4 to drop, the fuck am I doing? Like, what other AAA games are you going to give me before that?
Yeah.
And if you don't give me a AAA game before that, if you give me God of War, oh, I'm gonna have God of War. Okay, cool. When's God of War coming back out? 10 years from now. Congratulations, my kids will play it. When's
Whoa.
this game coming out? Ten
Give it
years from
four
now.
or
You know,
five.
so
Four or five.
no, yeah, well, you know, so it's just a matter of like it's a matter of how often your AAA games come out compared to like compared to anything else. And I mean, like we're going into Kingdom Hearts 4, and that's like Disney does the same shit too. Disney compared to Universal, Universal drops one big movie every so often, but Kingdom Hearts, Disney just throws out movies over and over again because of the smaller companies that they own, such as Pixar and everything else too, which is how you got Kingdom Hearts because you got Square Enix mixed with Disney World, and you got the best of both worlds. But
All right. I'm sorry to block your face off, but
it's all right.
with bringing up how you brought up what was it, some Kingdom Hearts, we're gonna finally go to the topic of the show. And that is Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced. I want to say for the most part, and Johnny's definitely going to elaborate on this because it was more of his experience of what he had to deal with. I like how I'm done with you. I'm glad you came off to the left. But so pretty much Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced. There was definitely like a crazy amount of excitement on Twitter. there was a crazy amount of excitement within some of the chats, but there was the met resistance of we are sick and tired of Kingdom Hearts for the most part because of the I don't know how, but like I said, you're going to elaborate, Johnny. Like,
Oh,
I don't,
I'll be more than glad to. Trust me.
so what was it like? All I remember was the fact that what was it? We wanted Johnny to play Kingdom Hearts, and he wanted to play through 1, 2, and 3, but for reasons that Johnny will express, what was it? We only I think we you beat 1, which was awesome, and then what was it going into 2? There was a huge drop off, and go ahead, Johnny. You can go. I'm just gonna drink on this one.
Um. So which part are we? Which part am I going into about the huge drop off? You might want to minimize that so I can actually see the chat can see me when I talk about it. Um.
There you go.
Thank you. Okay. So I got a few things about Kingdom Hearts that sit weird with me. But we'll talk about the idea of what happened when I went to go play Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3. So I was excited. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a Kingdom Hearts playthrough 1, 2, and 3. And, well, I made an announcement. Damn, bull. Um, so I was going to play Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3. Kingdom Hearts 1 was amazing. And it was not a bad thing. And it was so much fun and everything else, too. I was, at the end of the streams, I was reading out, met a couple people in the community and stuff like that, too. Downside was I played it, and all of a sudden, not to anybody else, but all of a sudden, like everybody across the board that we saw from multiple communities, all of a sudden, everybody was playing Kingdom Hearts. And it just became such a burnout where it was like, I enjoyed it and I wanted to play it, but then all of a sudden, it was just like, okay, I can't take a break from playing Kingdom Hearts to go watch my friends or go watch other streamers that I know and other content creators to watch them play play Kingdom Hearts again. And I'm like, how many more times can I possibly watch Kingdom Hearts? Like, how many more times can Kingdom Hearts be played through everybody? And it was just like, it became so tiring. People in the community were like, Johnny, please don't play anymore. Just take a break from Kingdom Hearts. Don't go back. Don't play anymore. Just take a break from the game, please, because we need to get a break from it. We just need to get a break from it all. And it sucked because Kingdom Hearts is a great game. It is. Um, but it was just that it became so oversaturated out of nowhere. See, like Ross said, please no Kingdom Hearts. Like it became so oversaturated out of nowhere. And right now they announced that everybody and their mother again is playing Kingdom Hearts again. And I understand it because it's the hype. So everybody's gonna play Kingdom Hearts to get through it again, 1, 2, and 3, because they want to relive the story and everything else too. But at the same time though, it's just like I needed a break from it because I needed a little bit of a break. And then that little bit of a break turned into I got tired of it because I got. It's like if you eat too much chocolate. After a while, you have too much chocolate. You're just like, I can't have fucking chocolate anymore. I'm done. I don't want chocolate. Don't give me chocolate. But it just became that thing because I think I told Bull. I told Bull to get Kingdom Hearts. He bought the game, and even when he bought the game, he looked over and he was like, I'm not playing this. He goes, everywhere I turn, there's Kingdom Hearts everywhere. He goes, I'm not playing it no more. He's like, I don't even want it. The fun that I had to go play it is done. I don't want to touch it. And I'm like, all right, and eventually I will do it. But it's just like, bro, like there's just, I don't know. And
Yeah,
yeah, that's my TED talk. Sorry.
that was your TED talk. No, that's it. Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. What was it? I'm gonna play this. Was it trailer real quick? Let me. Still working on certain things of how we're supposed to do these things, but we're gonna play this trailer. I don't even think I have. Let me see.
自分が望む結末ではなかったと絶望するのなら他の世界に退場すればいい。選択肢は無限にあるはずだ。
あなたはこの世界に来て7日間ずっと眠っていたの。ここはクワットラトム、聖者の世界ではあるけれど、私たちにとっては死の世界ってことになるみたい。
だが一度退場すれば元の世界に戻れると思うな。
手がかり見つかるといいね。
おい、どこへ行くんだよ。
So that was Kingdom Hearts 4. And it's magic in the making at this point. It's being developed, who is it at this point, by, I want to say Square Enix, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty stoked about it. Like I said before, was it most of us are. Johnny, how are you feeling right now?
I'm excited, and I'm also so okay. But the game itself, let me start back actually. For the game itself, I'm very excited about the game itself. I'll leave it at that for right now, and then we'll go into the rest afterwards. But for the game itself and for what the possibilities are of it, I'm excited to see where they go with it and what they do.
All right, what was it? I'm on the same page. What was it? I want to see what's gonna happen as far as what we're gonna get ourselves into. Everybody already knows me as far as when it comes to favorite genre, and it's definitely JRPGs right off the bat. So this one's definitely gonna be an automatic day one buy. And I'm gonna get in there, stream the shit out of it, and then call it a night. But what was it? I'm actually excited to see what they're gonna really do with this. We've had conversations offsite where what was it? Wondering how far the Disney characters are gonna go, how far if they're gonna bring back the Final Fantasy characters. What was it? We already know that there's certain tie-ins with I think it was called Final Fantasy Versus 13. If I'm not mistaken. What was it? There was a certain game that was supposed to come out, never really came out, and there's certain tie-ins that what was it? Conspiracy wise. That what was it might tie into Kingdom Hearts at some point. So what was it? I'm actually excited to see where they're gonna take this and what's gonna happen. And supposedly we thought that the story arc for what was it Kingdom Hearts was pretty much done, and we're probably getting ourselves into a new one. I mean, like he already sacrificed the clown shoes, gone, got himself a pair of good old Nikes now. But yeah.
Does he
I
though?
what?
Does he?
Maybe I don't know. I just know he's not wearing his
Mm.
clown shoes anymore.
Mm.
It's pretty it's pretty bad now. What was it? As far as release dates are concerned, we already know Square Enix's their track record with gaming. We're probably gonna wait for what Final Fantasy Remake is gonna be another 5 to 10 years, and then 20 for Kingdom Hearts. Was it 4? What was the timeline? What was it? How long between?
Okay,
Kingdom
here we go.
Hearts-
You ready for this one?
Go ahead.
Let's go. Now, I'm just gonna take 5 quick minutes real quick and just let this all out real quick.
Let it all out.
First of all, Kingdom Hearts 3. I was so in for it. Very excited for it. They announced pre-orders December 30th, 2014. I pre-ordered the game December 30th, 2014. I received the game day one release, February 28th, 2019. 5 fucking years waiting for this fucking game. 5 fucking years to get a game that was good, decent, very good. The gameplay, the play itself was amazing. However, the fact that they took away a lot of the characters sucked. The fact that they didn't have the main thing that was the biggest thing about Kingdom Hearts was the fact that you had Final Fantasy crossed over with Disney. You removed half that. Big thing, big issue you did. The story worlds on it, and then also too is the fact that Disney didn't take into consideration the fact of streaming and people on Twitch because of the fact that people were getting DMCA left and right by Disney for streaming Kingdom Hearts 3. You were not able to stream half the game. You had to mute your audio for almost half the game because of the fact that streaming wasn't a big thing during Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, and I understand that. But they never took into consideration of like, oh, by the way, maybe we should give a pass and not hit people with DMCA for playing these fucking games because you're losing half your base. So that was the other issue. And people are still getting hit with DMCAs right now for streaming at half the time. It depends on if you know what you're doing or not. Now, let's go forward, though, too, with it. Now, you have 15 years? It's like almost 20 games or more of lore. Because you have your 3 main games, then you have your mobile games, you have your DS game, you have literally your cell phone versions of the games too that all carry the story arc with it.
Yep,
So
all of it
unless
is
you
canon.
catch up on YouTube, right, all of it's canon. All of it is canon. I mean, you could get away with playing just the main 3 games, but you're going to be missing out because when you went from 1 to 2, you half the time, if you didn't play the other ones, you're like, who the fuck is this dude? And where am I and why am I here for? But you read, YouTube and everything else too, thank God, you can get all the information for it. However, though, now with this going forward now, with this game, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see where they're going with it. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with it because of the fact that I want to see what worlds they're going to put into it because last one, Baymax came out during their post-production. They threw Baymax in there. They threw in other games to it, and I want to see what they're going to throw into this one too. Like, I know I have at least 1 or 2 Disney movies that I'm excited that I want to see them put into this, and I won't know if they will or not, but we'll talk about that. But I want to know, though, is when I looked at the trailer, my first initial reaction was, holy shit, these amazing graphics. Cool. Sora went to sleep for 7 years, woke up in Unreal Engine 5. Congratulations, Sora, you made it. Now...
So hold on, let me stop you there real quick. There's a correction. So what you're seeing in the trailer is Unreal Engine 4. There's articles that are talking about that, they have that in Unreal Engine 4, but they're going to transition to Unreal Engine 5 at some point in the development. So it just might get better.
Oh no, it looks amazing. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love the way it looks. Even on Unreal Engine 4. Like, if it gets better, that's even better.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is, though, is that you went to sleep. So we always had it where Final Fantasy characters came to Disney kind of characters. You had Traverse Town and everything else too, which wasn't Traverse Town isn't really Disney, but it's a made-up world.
Yeah.
A central home hub. Then you have all your Disney worlds they go to. But now, my theory is, and I'm going on a theory here, is the fact that Sora went to sleep because you still have District 13, whatever the hell they are. Not District 13.
Organization 13.
Organization 13, thank you, District 13. Organization 13 or whatever. And you have them. But now, did Sora go to sleep and now is he waking up in Final Fantasy World? And if that's the case, now his clown shoes, like you said, are those not his clown shoes, or is that just because of the fact that he does like he does before? He takes on he takes on the characteristics of the world that he's in. Now, if that's the case, I want to know how they're going to do it. Are they going to retcon? Because they retconned a lot of shit from 1 to 3. They've retconned a lot of stuff throughout the games. The one thing that they have not retconned yet, though, because they even make a joke about it in Kingdom Hearts 3, is the fact that all the costume choices that Sora has is done through Mickey, not through Donald. Donald makes the character costume choices for them. They make the joke about it in Monsters University World, where they're like, in Monsters Inc. World, where they're like, you really made us look like this? You gave us this outfit? Like, what the fuck? Why'd you do that for? But now, if that's the case, though, where they're showing you right now is they're showing you him in the real world, which would be Final Fantasy World, which is where the Heartless come into play in here. Now, his sneakers look different. Everything about him looks different. His hair's not as cartoony and spiky. He looks more down to earth, more realistic, human-esque, kind of, I guess you want to call human-esque. But yet they show you Mickey, they show you Donald and Goofy, though, still within, I'm thinking, the cartoon world, the Disney world. And I'm thinking that you either, at the end of it, is Hades, is who you see at the end. So where are they going to do that? Are they going to retcon it? How are they going to end up going that route? Like, that's where, like, and just from the images, like, you pause it during the video and you can see, like, the gauge even looks amazing. Like the gauge with Sora's head. Like, it looks amazing. Like, everything about it looks amazing. Everything about the game looks amazing. But I really want to see what they're going to do with it, because if you look at the video on the bottom right hand corner where they show you during the fight when he goes against Darkseid, is it Darkseid? Can't remember his name.
I have no idea.
When he's going against him, though, he has the battle bar on the bottom right, and the battle bar looks like his face is in there, and even the face on that looks amazing.
Yeah.
So where they go with this is going to be interesting to see, and I really want to know how they're going to touch on it. What, is there going to be a lot of, because with him going through the building, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fucking QT action. A lot of that is what it looks like it's going to be. But
yeah,
I don't know.
So you definitely bring in good points on the factor of could this be like, is this going to be another world, or is this the main one? Because remember, like, how they all got lost on that island, like way back. I don't think they really go into too much detail on how everything goes on that part, but to find out that there's multiple worlds and what this world could be. It might be a Final Fantasy world. It might be just a specific world, like it might be Noctis's world in some way, shape, or form. Or is it, even though like some of this is not familiar to begin with, but it just like might be the real world, because everything that you see about it, when you like, especially like with him running around in the streets and stuff like that, everything looks just modern, like what today is. You know what I mean? Right. It's definitely like a real great theme to it too, also. But now my question is like, what worlds are they gonna bring into the mix? Because I don't know if it's within this trailer. I think this was it right here. Oh, there it goes. So in this trailer, right, this was pointed out at some point in a podcast. So apparently this is one of the planets that I think it coincides with Star Wars. This is a foot of, I think, an ATV. This is what was said.
Oh. The Battle of Endor is what I've been hearing people talk about. That makes sense.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense then.
So they might be bringing in, they might still be keeping, because at first I thought they were just going to scrap everything. They're not going to do the Disney thing. They're not going to do the Final Fantasy thing. But it's a possibility that they're going to bring back the Final Fantasy thing off the bat. They're still going to keep the Disney. But what we are afraid of is the fact of, what I'm afraid of is that they're going to water it down again. Because when we got Kingdom Hearts 1, and everything that was in it, as far as Disney, it all had a meaning to it, like all the princesses and stuff like that. Everything had a part to play in the major story. with what was it, the worlds that you had to go to and the princesses and everything, right? Go into number 2, things like you still went to different worlds, but the meaning started to kind of like get watered down. And then the same thing in 3, but then this time they removed the Final Fantasy characters for whatever reason. So what was it? It just keeps like, what was it going? It just feels like it's just going to keep getting watered down in some way, shape, or form. And we're hoping that they try to redeem themselves with Kingdom Hearts 4, because if they weren't really going to try, they could have just called it like Kingdom Hearts and then blah 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 and then try to do something new with it. But they're trying to continue it, and they're trying to basically maybe close it out in a better way, because they didn't really close it out all that well. Was it with most of the fans, and was it story wise? Was it a lot of us was just a little disappointed? Not gonna lie.
100%.
So my question to you:
Okay.
you have 2 choices, okay? 2.
Ooh.
And you could dig far and wide, you could repeat whatever you want. But my question to you is, what 2 worlds do you want to see in the next Kingdom Hearts?
Encanto?
I was going to say, you have one more.
I'm trying to think. Like, I would love to see them go old school with it, but like with updated graphics. But it's a tough one. Because they're gonna go modern. They're gonna go new movies.
Well, you never know. They might dig in the vault.
Because they did Frozen already. But I would say Encanto is definitely one of them. And then I would love to see them go back to Nightmare Before Christmas, but that's just a personal touch, like a personal flavor of mine.
Oh, the world that you skipped, and we all had to demand you to go back.
There we go. I knew that was gonna come out too. I knew that was gonna come up.
Like, do you not see this beanie? Do you not understand the love for the nightmare? So, I'm definitely with you 100%. I don't do tattoos. I'm sorry. I only got the tramp stamp that says Boombot on the back. That's all I got for you, Johnny. But so definitely, what was it? I'm gonna go with Encanto. It's definitely gonna be the first one automatically, and definitely go like this is. Was it modern? But it was definitely somewhat recent. I would love for them to go. Into it with Moana also?
Ooh.
Yes, and they have to get Dwayne Johnson back. They have to.
That would be interesting to have Tafiti be like the main Heartless.
There you go.
Ooh.
And then she gets taken over by the Heartless. You got to do your thing. You get the party either with Moana or do like a party with Moana and then Maui, or they might expand on that. But I would definitely love to see Moana. And I would definitely love to see Encanto, and at least let me pick the big sister.
Oh, I have an entire play out. Disney, if you're listening, Square Enix, if you're listening, I have an entire story of exactly how it should be done if you guys do Encanto for Kingdom Hearts. I already know exactly how it should be played out. So hear me out, right? So the house gets taken over by the Heartless. Now the house though is the main level. The house is the world that you're going into. You're going into the world of the house, right? Now what you have to do is though you have to work your way through the house to get the house back. But you go through you have to take over the character of each one of their characters and their abilities. And you have to fight through each one of their rooms against the Heartless in their room. So the big sister you have to fight using your strength. So you have to fight as Bruno would be the last one you have to fight with behind the scenes to try to get through the walls to get to the main Heartless. And then at the end of it though, you can actually call upon each one of them for different things if you needed to within the final boss to be able to get certain things done. $1 million idea right there. Square Enix, get on it. Pay me later.
Where Disney, you guys need to listen and definitely get that going, because that would be that's actually like a perfect idea to get it where you have what was it like to go through like every member of the family and just have them involved within that world. and it's like, what was it? You keep doing whatever you got to do, whatever to keep that progression, but that third party member would always be somebody different depending on where you're at within that world, and they would all
Or
play.
even if you have Mirabelle and you just call upon them in each world, each section has you can call upon them for their strengths to get through certain things.
That could work too. That would be like the easy way out. Was it where you
Yeah.
could just like, yeah, it was the little things here. But I would feel like, but then like they wouldn't do it my way because it's too much work. You have like their own little sections for each one and whatnot. But no, that would be fucking amazing. Like that would be, ooh, that'd be great. Like that would be now I'm jelly, bro.
I
Now
like
I'm
my idea. Man.
jelly.
Now I want there to be now I want there to be a game. Like even if it's just fucking Kingdom Hearts, I just want it to be a regular game in general,
Yeah.
like an Encanto video game.
That would be great. That would be definitely fantastic. So hold on, let me see real quick. So I'm gonna give you guys a second, right? Or is it probably like a good like 3 minutes because I forgot to copy paste some bits over here. What was it? We're pretty much what was it at the closing part of the what was it conversation on this topic? Johnny, was it? Are you yay or nay on Kingdom Hearts 4 now?
I'm still yay.
All right, so I'm
Still yay.
definitely.
And but why is it Goofy with dude? Why do you have that image of Goofy with Sora's hair?
Don't worry about that.
I just noticed.
Don't worry about that. This is what we have to do. All right. So what was it? Give me. What was it? Go ahead and what was it, guys? I want you to chime in. You got 2 questions when you're ready. All right, 2 questions. I don't even know how I'm gonna get this off of because if I switch over from the camera part, the cameras are gonna disappear, right?
They might.
They might. All right, so right now we are in the question part of the segment part thingy, Majigger. So go ahead and highlight your questions. So Johnny or I will, well, Johnny and I will, what was it? Go ahead and answer the questions, but starting with Johnny because I have to figure out some of this stuff real fast.
Okay, so Rocky is asking, would you rather Sony invest into a new version of PlayStation Home with VR or use an existing VR ecosystem? Personally speaking, as somebody that's very heavy into VR worlds and very heavy into Oculus, especially because it's the most, to me, Oculus is the most budget-friendly VR system out there as opposed to PlayStation because I feel like PlayStation VR is good but expensive and pointless. So now the way I would say that would be I hope that they would use an existing VR ecosystem because of the fact that they would actually have more options available to them to go ahead and use an existing VR ecosystem as opposed to making it only for a PlayStation exclusive. So if Sony was, which we know they're not going to do it, but if Sony was to actually go ahead and make VR PlayStation Home, for instance, or PlayStation VR games accessible through PC, through third party apps, whatever like that, they would be able to make so much more money than they would be just doing PlayStation VR itself. Mainly because of the fact that PlayStation VR is too expensive. You need to first have a PS5 or a PS4. You need to have the PlayStation, then you need to have the VR headset. Then you need to be hardwired to your system as well too, plus their controls and everything else too. As opposed to like the Oculus, for instance, the Oculus Quest 2 is wireless. You can stream to your PC wirelessly. You can play games wirelessly through virtual desktop. And if you want to wire it, if you have a PC that is able to play VR games and some of that too, then you're able to use the VR headset. It would be amazing if they were able to have it where I could actually use the my Oculus and connect it to my PlayStation via USB even, or through the port in the back, HDMI, whatever it may be. But through USB because you hook it to the PC through USB. To be able to hook up my Oculus to the VR to the PlayStation 5 and then still be able to use it to play VR games would be unbelievable. And that's me personally because I don't see PlayStation VR as being a good investment. That's just personal. But
all right, so I'm gonna chime in with my side of it. It said, all right, so would you rather Sony invest in a new version of PlayStation Home with VR or using existing VR ecosystem. So, yeah, I should have been paying attention. I apologize, Johnny. I feel like I'm probably gonna end up repeating the same shit. But what was it? I'm definitely all for the fact because we already have PS2 happening. It's happening already. We already know that. Um, so as far as what I like, I would just rather them like was it go ahead do their thing. If they can bring PlayStation Home back through what was it like their VR and then also being able to play it like off the console regularly, then I'm all for it. I am totally all for it. Like if they can bring it back, I'm all in. Like we will have fun with that. What was it? There will be days that Johnny and I and other co-hosts that eventually will have their time to shine. What was it? We might even do it off of a PlayStation Home if we could. You know, what was it? We had an idea back in the day. What was it when I was telling Johnny that I want to have everybody in a room and Grand Theft Auto on couches and stuff, and this is how we were gonna do the podcast. These are little ideas to just spice things up on a visual level and whatnot. But as far as your question, what was it? I would rather them just bring PlayStation Home to our current existing consoles, including PlayStation VR 2, which I cannot wait to get my hands on. Like, I almost want to dust off my other one, which now that I'm thinking about it, I should go play some Beat Saber afterwards. No, wait, I
That's not
promised
on the
somebody I'm
PlayStation
playing
VR,
something. Huh?
That's not on the PlayStation VR. But now, what if would you rather them? What if you were able to use your Oculus on your PS5?
Well, first off, Beat Saber is on PlayStation VR, the original.
Okay.
Yeah, but second, if there was a way to use the PlayStation, and the Oculus together, which we already know PlayStation is bougie, this will never happen. But it would be an amazing way to have that connectivity with consoles and was it existing systems or whatnot. Like if I had because I have the Oculus and whatnot, and I also own PlayStation VR. But if I was able to use just the Oculus with the one wire and on a PlayStation, it would be amazing. It would be perfect. But that's not happening at any point in time unless something breaks out down the road.
Right. So I made the statement, and I made the statement of the fact that I feel that PlayStation VR is not so much a waste of money, but it's not as budget friendly for somebody that is not a heavy into PlayStation VR, where as opposed to Oculus being more budget friendly.
So I'm gonna agree with you on that. What was it? If I remember correctly, let me see if I could pull it up. I do remember it was somewhere around the 300 to 400s, right? Retail, no price for PlayStation VR. Let's see, what do we got? Oh, the set itself with so yeah, it was at around 400. Yeah, $400. What was it? That's what I saw. I don't know if I saw that correctly, but yeah, it is not budget friendly at all. This is an investment, like you're buying another console. What was it? Rumor has it that it's gonna still be a 400 price point when you bring in PlayStation VR 2. And it's bad enough that people can't find the consoles, let alone that we got to pay $500 for the console itself. But then there's also the price point of $399 if you want to get the digital one. So you kind of can finagle that and whatnot. But what was it? As far as the price point, it is not budget friendly. It is definitely an investment because you don't know what you're really getting yourself into, and it was hard for people, especially around COVID times, to try these things out. Because you could never find out am I going to be good with PlayStation VR or am I going to get motion sickness? Because there's a lot of people within community that have done VR and they cannot do it because they get motion sickness. Was it Batical? He tried to do, I think it was the PlayStation VR. If not, I think it was actually a PC version type. I don't know if it was the Vive or something along those lines, but he had that issue. He couldn't play it because he would get motion sickness from it. So, everybody's built different and whatnot. But I don't know. What was it? I'm excited. You too? Oh no. But I'm excited for it. What was it? I'm excited to see where they go with that. I'm gonna read off the second question and answer first, and you'll answer second. So, do you think Microsoft will join VR space with the Xbox? If yes, then how long do you think we have to wait? So, I'm going to go off the bat and just say no, not anytime soon, because they have a different structure of how they want to be. The closest possible way that they might pull that off, if they decide we're going to take what we got as far as Game Pass and adopt the version into stuff like, what was it, on the PC side, like the Vive. Is it the Vive? Am I saying it right?
No. Oh, so you have the HTC Vive, you have the Valve Index.
Oh, Vive. I said
you have
Vive. Gotcha.
You have the Oculus Go, the Oculus Quest as well too.
All right, so within those, I can see if that opportunity was to like show itself. I can see that happening with those systems and them dropping some form of a Game Pass and like some type of deal with that. That's as good as it gets. But I don't think Microsoft is willing to do that at any point in time. I feel that they're trying to get everything as far as like their cloud gaming in order, their Game Pass. Those are their projects at this point in time. They're not going to drop their own version of a VR, let alone a handheld to begin with. Johnny.
Do I see them jumping into the VR world? The VR space with the Xbox? As far as the Xbox goes, no. You can already play some of the Xbox games through Game Pass on your PC, and you can use your Oculus to play those games or any other thing as well too. Though, but you're basically essentially just playing it in VR. You're playing it on a projected screen in VR. You're not actually immersed in the VR game. So the games are able to be played. You are able to play Xbox games in the VR world. However, you can't play PlayStation games in the VR world. So that's where Xbox does have a one up, but it's not sanctioned by Xbox per se. So like I can go on to the Oculus right now. I can load up a movie theater room basically. I can have Cineax join me as well too. We can both play Xbox games in a movie theater in the Oculus. But being an actual immersed VR game, no. Anytime soon do I see them doing that? Probably not, because they're doing their own thing. They're not really looking towards the Xbox thing right now, because Xbox is more of a, I would say that Xbox PC gaming, they're great for PC gaming with their Game Pass and other games that Microsoft releases for PC. However, they won't touch that world because that's owned by Steam. VR gaming on the PC, Steam owns that whole world. The only chance you might have them getting to it is an Xbox Facebook deal with Meta, with the metaverse, would be the only chance you might even have them stepping foot into the VR world. But I don't see that happening anytime soon at all, though, because they're in their own way. I know that Xbox was talking about, I know that Microsoft was talking about, and Xbox was talking about doing some things, because like if you look at Minecraft, they have Minecraft VR. So I mean, technically that's Xbox VR if you want to consider it, because Microsoft does now own, Minecraft. So you do have Minecraft VR. I do know that years ago they were talking about the, where were they talking about before? They were talking about the, not what the hell, immersive, like the immersive, not the immersive. What the fuck is it called?
I was going with immersive. You had me sold.
No, the where you wear like the glasses and everything else too, but it's like basically just takes place in your own world.
Oh yeah, I know. It was it's the AR. The AR.
Augmented reality. Thank you. So
there you go.
Thank you, Rocky. Yes. So I know that Xbox and Microsoft and them were talking about augmented reality, where it was going to be with like basically like almost like the Google glasses were, and they had it where you were able to do Minecraft on your table, where you were able to zoom in and put blocks down and zoom back out again too. So Microsoft themselves will be looking into VR. Will it be on the Xbox level? I don't know about that though. Will it be on the Xbox gaming level? I'm not sure about though.
That I can see that. If they're already doing augmented reality and you can play Minecraft with a pair of glasses, I'm all in. Like I'm all in. You've convinced me enough.
There's a video about it too.
What was it? Pull that up, because what was it? I want to see that. And what was it? I'm going to go on to this next question from Raralin. Where can I get those shades and that beanie? So I'm gonna say the beanies anywhere Disney wise. I don't even know if they sell this beanie anymore like that. What was it? As far as the shades, I have no idea. got these from my wife's drawer, and now they're mine forever. No one tell her,
Thank you,
please.
Rocky. Exactly.
We need to market those as was it Axe glasses? Just saying exactly what's going on, Jovi. How you doing? Was it? Yeah, was it? The glasses, I love the glasses. Was it? I think what was it? I'm gonna open up my own store eventually, and that's gonna be my merch. It's just gonna be a form of this beanie. What was it? It'll be a get glitched version, and what was it? We got to get a Johnny Boombots version also. We got to talk about that offsite. What was it? And we're gonna get a Cineax version. You know, maybe like some Sinful Nights or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. You know, we're all working through this. We're all trying to be epic in our own ways. But yeah. So now we're gonna go into what was it? The next
Post the
part.
link, by the way, if you
What happened? Oh, let me get the link
post
real quick because I do want to look
it's
at
right up in
that.
the chat right there. So
I got
even
it.
like Rocky said too, it was shown at E3. It was 2015 E3 as they showed the HoloLens.
Got you. All right, so we're gonna what was it? Boost this up so we are out of the way. We're gonna skip these
And
ads.
Rocky said that he spoke with somebody in Microsoft briefly about the project.
Oh, nice. We might have to talk to was it have Rocky on the show for a little bit next time. Cause was it that'll be another topic though. We should go into VR. Also in within I thought that was Keanu Reeves. Also within what was it Discord? I think I do have a section to what was it? If you guys have any topics in mind, go ahead and suggest them inside the Discord. So what was it? We can get that going. There is a version of it in mine, and I think Johnny said he set up a version also within his
what?
Community Discord. And he's really playing Minecraft. So is this what he sees?
Right.
And then let's see. Oh.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow. This is one hell of a creative mode. And he can see it's like wow. So he can take stuff. Wow. So this is
Yeah.
definitely in the sense of like was it creative? Look at that house. That house is nice. Getting inspired. Oh no, and then he can like look in. And look like he's like wow, this is in 2015. I wonder where they're at with this because this would oh
I think they stopped working on the HoloLens, if I'm not mistaken.
that's sad. This was actually like this would be a fun way just to like do creative stuff and whatnot. And then to have like that was it like to come in and then like you know like if you're playing on the server that this is happening like you can see like some like a sun or something that moves around and looks at you while you're
Jovi's
playing
gonna
the
be
game.
standing there watching us.
Yeah,
As
Jovi's
we,
gonna be standing with his like HoloLens watching us as what
oh,
was
it's
it we
not done.
go.
It's still available. They're working on it. They actually, yeah, you can
Oh,
actually
there's
do it. You can
still
actually buy it.
oh so it's already out.
But they use oh, you know what it is? The HoloLens is working. They're using HoloLens more for you got HoloLens 2. And they're using it more for business work, for like a business aspect. So they went the business route.
Oh, so they invested in that direction, and then obviously
They went
once
into the
what was it
business
once
aspect of it,
yeah.
like
Oh, that's
yeah.
amazing. Like I know I'm gonna play some was it Back for Blood later, but I might have to hop on Minecraft at some point now too because this is getting me a little itchy for Minecraft right now. So this is why didn't that link up yet? Here you go. Let's pop that over here. I have so many links. Start closing some of these out. So this is the Microsoft
Oh
HoloLens
my god, it's
2.
$3,500 for the fucking main HoloLens 2.
Well, I'm already doing the overtime, so I might as well just, you know, throw in there.
Oh, which
All right.
pretty cool.
So was it we're gonna leave that in the background? Actually, no, we're not. We're gonna do something else real quick. So we have our featured streamer who just stopped by not too long ago. Let's see if I can do this right. I'll actually pull up like the wrong site. There we go. So got our featured streamer This is her channel at the moment out front. Oh, hold on, give me 1 second.
Ingredients, better pizza means that every bite of this
What's
slice
going on here?
just keeps getting better from the first bite to the dunk. And just when you're thinking this slice
I'm at there's like a
is
pizza
better,
commercial on her
there's a
channel.
stuffed crust that's
Look at Bounty over here giving commercials to people even off stream.
Exactly, like this is hilarious. I didn't know this was a thing. So let me read off this paragraph that I carefully designed that I'm probably gonna have ruined anyways. All right, everyone. Now it is our time to unveil our featured streamer of the week. This week it is Balti Horse.
Sorry, I forgot that I was gonna play a clip.
No, oh, the clip is under. That's not good. All right, so we're gonna try that again from the top now. So, and you gotta wait till I say the one part, and then you do the clip.
And I got you.
You know, this is all work in progress, guys. This is the second
Professional, guys.
pilot. So, what was it? Here's a clip from her stream. I should have put the stuff, and of course, she's always with a different hairstyle all day, every day. Balti's a variety streamer who likes to play a variety of genres. Although she particularly loves platformers and games with a great story. Balti's favorite game is Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. This title holds a special place in her heart. And away from keyboard activity for Balti would be enjoying time with her family playing D&D. Go and follow Balti Horse at twitch.tv/Balti Horse. And the link is in the chat for those who are interested. So now, next segment, and I definitely have to have segment breakers for the next podcast. We're not going to talk about that, Rocky. Leave my pronunciation alone. But Johnny, what have you been playing recently?
Oh, recently? Nothing. No, I've been playing Minecraft and Fortnite recently.
I was about to say, you're a liar and a half.
I've just been on Minecraft a lot lately. Minecraft and Fortnite have been my two main things I've been going to. I packed up most of my shit, so I've done that's pretty much mainly what I've been playing. But yeah, I do. I am going to actually talk about though is one game. Actually, no, that's it. No, yeah, I've been playing Minecraft and Fortnite. My bad. Cinex, what have you? Cinex, what have you been playing, Cinex?
Oh, well, I've been I've been dabbling around with Minecraft, on Jovi server. Well, what was it? We also had some Fortnite sessions, which were pretty much like with no build mode. It's definitely a whole lot better in my opinion, and it's something I'm definitely going to be dabbling in for a very long time at this point. What was it? Chrono Cross has been my little JRPG project. So we'll see how that goes. There's a whole thing with multiple characters to collect, and I don't know how that's gonna go. But right now, definitely Fortnite and Minecraft. Definitely that. No build was the best thing to happen. Yep, you're right.
Yep, 100%.
That is 100%. A lot of us did not like the building, and a lot of us would not build even with building mode. When it had building as a normal thing? So it was definitely something that we did not want to deal with. Now, this is a little project here also. We have Johnny suggest us an indie title, and I hope he has a provided link for a video, or I will have to find one.
I got you right now. Give me 1 second.
Oh no, people can
Okay,
see that I
so
was cheating in Elden Ring.
So what I will say is that the game that I actually do want to suggest though is a very it's an amazing game. It's a very weird game. It's called Superliminal, and it's actually a game that I played with Balti. We did a multiplayer as well too. That's the link right there though. I put it in the chat. Cinex will pull that up real quick. Superliminal is a hold on 1 second. I definitely did not have this ready like I should have, and I apologize.
All work in progress.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Superliminal is actually a 2019 surreal puzzle video game released by Pillow Castle Games. The game, played from a first-person perspective, incorporates gameplay elements Incorporates gameplay elements around optical illusions and forced perspective. Notably, certain objects, when picked up, can be moved towards or away from the player, but when placed back down, scale to the size as the player had viewed them, enabling the player to solve puzzles to complete the games. Now, this game is a. I definitely give this game at least a 10 out of 10 for a puzzle game. Um, the game has a lot of people have seen me play it too as well. Um, Bounty loved it. I loved it. I know Mayamo CG, he loved it as well too. He played it as well, and it's such a crazy game for like an indie game because as you can tell by the video, things are just never what they seem to be. Um, so if you pick up, like, let's say you pick up this bottle, and I'm holding this bottle right in front of my face, and then if I move the bottle towards, like, away from the wall, and I back up, and the bottle looks like it's getting bigger because visual perception, it gets bigger. If I let that bottle go, that bottle is just as big as it was, like when I see it, like that right there with the house. So the items are smaller, bigger, and it incorporates a lot of different things where it makes you feel like as if you need to do one thing, but if yet it's such a mind fuck. It really is. It's just that's the only way to put it. Is it's mind
Oh
fuck.
shit.
Um, what was that? Which
The
what's that?
arrow that you were talking about, like the whole mind fuck,
Oh, the
and he
sign.
just brought it across, and then he was able to get on top of the arrow just on the way it was angled.
Exactly, like the bouncy house too. Like the way the bouncy house is still, like it gets bigger, and you got to run into the bouncy house. And then everything's smaller, and then you put stuff on there, and then like that one piece right there, the chess piece, it turns into part of the wall. Sometimes you actually have to match up paintings on the wall to bring it together to make an item that you have to grab. Um, and then the craziest part about that whole game is when you get to the end of it, it makes you the narration of the game at the end of it is such a huge like it's such an inspirational message at the end of it though that really had me and everybody on stream that day going holy shit, like I literally got so silent listening to the message at the end, and it made me like it really made me like look at things from a different perspective, which is exactly what the game is meant to do. So you're not only looking at the game as you're playing and looking at all the items from a different perspective, but it really teaches you to look at life and to look at everything you're going through in life from a different perspective. Because just because you see it one way doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It's a rough thing. So especially for somebody like me, who we already know, like me and Cindy have talked plenty of times too. Like I go through bad imposter syndrome at times, and I go through a lot of things where I really question and doubt myself on a lot of things that I do. This game, when I did it and I looked at the game and I played the game, at the end of it, it had me be able to take a step back and really look at things from a different perspective and be like, you know what? Not everything is as what it seems. Not everything is as hard or as difficult as it is, and there are multiple ways to get to the end resolution. Wes is always saying that too. Like, as long as you get from A to Z, it doesn't matter what route you take, but you still get the end result though. And the end result though, regardless though, when you get there, is what's so um so rewarding. And that's why I love puzzle games, because when you finally figure out that puzzle, that end result is amazing. And the crazy part is too is that the multiplayer for an indie game, this multiplayer was amazing. You're able to do multiple people. You can do up to 8 people, I think, in multiplayer, even more. Um, then they also have a build mode, which is a developer. The developers actually put the developer mode in there. So you have a sandbox mode where you can import 3D models from your own PC into the game and make your own puzzle world using their force perspective with your own 3D models. So just so much about it, and it's on Xbox Game Pass. So it's on Xbox Game
Oh, it
Pass.
is?
Yes, it's on. I'm 99% sure it's on Xbox Game Pass. I bought it, yes, because I bought it for Steam so I could play it with Bounty. I bought it on Steam so I could play it with Bounty because the multiplayer is on Steam, but the multiplayer is not on Game Pass. So Game Pass
Got you.
has the game itself, but not the multipass, not the Fifth Element multipass. Um,
Multipath.
so yeah, yeah, I believe I'm pretty sure. Let me double check real quick.
So we already know it's on Steam. Was it? There was an Epic link for pre-orders. Was it? It's also on. Was it Game Pass according to Johnny, which I think you're
Yeah,
verifying at the moment.
Diego
Oh,
Dallas multipass.
all right, awesome.